Oh, there's no picture. The camera doesn't work. We'll carry on without the picture. I don't know whether you're seeing it. I'm not. So hopefully you're not seeing it because it's Monday morning and I've not combed my hair. Right. Act 3, Scene 6. This is Lennox basically gossiping um, about Macbeth. Lennox, if you remember, is one of the Thanes, one of the lords. Um, so let's get straight on with it. Lennox says, "My former speeches have hit your thoughts." He's talking to another lord, which can interpret further only I say things have been strangely born. So my former speeches have but hit your thoughts. He's saying, I can see that you've listened to what I've said and I've managed to influence you. When he says things have been strangely born, he basically means strange things have been happening. So we come across this scene in Macbeth over and over, strange things happening, nature being reversed, unpredictable events happening. And remember, this all links back to the fact that Macbeth has turned nature on its head. He's, if you like, he's contradicted the divine right of kings. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. So he's saying Macbeth pitied Duncan, but only after he was dead, and the right valiant Banquo walked too late. So Banquo went out walking late at night, whom you might say, if it pleased you, Fleance killed. So this is gossip here. He's saying Macbeth felt sorry for Duncan, but only after he was dead. Banquo went out walking late at night and got killed, and he's gossiping here that Fleance might have killed Banquo because he fled. Just like Malcolm and Donalbain, he ran away from his father's dead body, and therefore he is suspected of the murder. Men must, so what do we assume from this? Where's the, yeah, there we go. Men must not walk too late. So he's saying, so what do we assume from all of this? Well, it's dangerous to go out walking late at night. Right, on the next line. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Where's the cursor? So here he appears to be kind of swallowing wholly Macbeth's explanation of events. He's not drawing any suspicion to Macbeth at all. He's saying how awful it was for Malcolm and Donalbain to kill their respected father. On the next line, although we do have question marks there and exclamation marks, so it's a bit difficult to know whether Lennox is being a bit of a gossip and questioning what's happening, or whether he's a bit stupid and he doesn't realise what's happening, or he just says whatever he thinks will please people. How did it grieve Macbeth? Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear? So this suggests here he does believe Macbeth. He does believe Macbeth's version of events. He's saying Macbeth was so disgusted by the murder of Duncan that he killed the two servants, the two delinquents that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep. So he killed the two servants who were supposed to be protecting Duncan, but who got drunk and fell asleep. Was not that nobly done? So he's saying, wasn't that the right thing to do for Macbeth to kill the servants? But again, it's a question mark, so we don't really know what Lennox thinks. But he answers this question, aye, yes, and wisely too. So it was wise of Macbeth to kill the two servants, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So anybody would have been angry to hear the men deny that they were involved in Duncan's murder. So he's kind of justifying the fact that Macbeth killed the two servants. So that, I say, he has borne all things well. So far there's been a lot of question marks and gossip, and it's not clear whether Lennox does completely accept Macbeth's version of events, or whether he is kind of questioning it and gossiping around it. But here he definitely comes down on Macbeth's side. So that, I say, he has borne all things well, which means so he has dealt with the situation well. He's handled things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as An't please heaven he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father. So when it says, I do think that he had Duncan's sons under his key, what that means is if Macbeth had Malcolm and Donalbain as prisoners, and please heaven he shall not, so hopefully he won't, they should find what would kill a father. So it's suggested there if Macbeth had Malcolm and Donalbain as prisoners, then he would take revenge on them. They would have a savage punishment. And so should Fleance. So Macbeth would punish Fleance as well. But peace, for from broad words and cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast. I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. But peace for broad, and he cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast. So this is a bit odd. He appears to be saying Macbeth is justified in everything he's done, but then he refers to Macbeth's feast as the tyrant's feast, and obviously a tyrant is somebody that's deeply unpopular. But at the same time, he's saying Fleance and Macbeth failed to turn up at the feast. So again, it goes back to being a little bit confusing here. What does Lennox actually believe? I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself? So Macduff at this time has gone to England. He's refusing to visit Macbeth, and Lennox is just referring here to the fact that it appears that Macduff and Macbeth are now in disagreement. And we also learn here that Macduff failed to turn up to Macbeth's feast. Secretly, we know that's because Macduff has suspicions about Macbeth, and as I say, he is now going to England to try and raise an army to fight against Macbeth, although Macbeth doesn't know that at this stage. Okay, 3 questions on this page, please. Number 1, what is Lennox's view of Macbeth overall? I've said it's a bit confusing, but overall, what is his view of Macbeth? Does he believe Macbeth's a version of events, or does he think Macbeth is up to no good? Number 2, what is the dramatic irony in this scene? Lennox is saying that Banquo has been killed by Fleance and Duncan has been killed by Malcolm and Donalbain. So what's the dramatic irony there? And number 3, why is Macduff out of favour? Why is Macbeth angry with Macduff? So carrying on with the gossip, the Lord replies to Lennox's long speech. He says, the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court. This is referring to Malcolm. Malcolm has gone to England to meet with King Edward, and he's being treated very well by King Edward, and as this line here makes clear, King Edward is a brave and admired king. Pious means humble, admired, and a good leader. With such grace, so he's being treated very kindly in England, that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from this high respect. So he's treated with great respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the Holy King upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike seaward. So Macduff has also gone to meet King Edward, and he wants King Edward to help him form an army from people in Northumberland, which borders Scotland, which is led by a man called Seward. So he's looking for help now to fight against Macbeth, Macduff is, and he wants an army from England, in particular Northumberland, to help him invade Scotland. That by the help of these with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives. Slightly complicated, this one, but unlike Lennox, who appears to kind of swallow Macbeth's version of events and believes that Macbeth is not guilty of the murders, the Lord here is very clear that Macbeth has made Scotland a pretty awful place to live, and that's in these lines here. We may again give to our tables meat, so that's suggesting, where's that curse? Excuse me. That's suggesting that people in Scotland are starving, sleep to our nights, they can't sleep, they're worried, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives. So that also suggests that they can't have feasts, they can't have celebrations, because everyone is suspicious that they could be murdered. So this is a reference to Scotland really suffering under Macbeth as king. People are starving, people can't sleep, they're paranoid, and people are worried that they could be killed or murdered at any time, and Macbeth is the cause of this. All which we pine for now. So people in Scotland are desperate for peace, for safety, for security, and to be able to eat. And this report has so exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt of war. So Macbeth, the king here, Macbeth has heard about Macduff trying to raise an army in England, and he is preparing to defend Scotland. He is assuming that Macduff will invade, and he is preparing to fight him, preparing to go to war. Okay. Lennox says to the Lord, did Macbeth tell Macduff to come back to Scotland, sent he Macduff? And Lord said, yes, he did, and with an absolute "Sir, not I," the cloudy messenger turns me his back. So Macbeth sent a messenger to Macduff to tell him to come back to Scotland, and his reply was, "Sir, not I," basically no. And the messenger said, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer, so you will regret your answer. You'll regret saying no, refusing to return to Scotland." And then Lennox says, "And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide." So this threat that you'll regret your answer will make sure that he doesn't actually return to Scotland. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come. So somebody should get Macduff to come back to Scotland, and hear that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed. So this whole section here means somebody should send Macduff, so a messenger should get Macduff to come back to Scotland and save our suffering country from Macbeth, which Shakespeare uses the metaphor a cursed hand. So Macbeth is the cursed hand. So Scotland is cursed under Macbeth. So somebody should get Macduff to come back and save Scotland from Macbeth, which is a bit odd because on the previous page Lennox was saying Macbeth was justified in all that he's done, and kind of sounded like he supported Macbeth. So what we learn here about Lennox is that he quickly changes his mind. He's a bit of a gossip, and he's easily persuaded. The Lord is sympathetic to Macduff and criticises Macbeth, and as soon as he does that, Lennox changes his mind and criticises Macbeth. So he's one of those people who will just tell people whatever they want to hear, and is easily influenced. Three questions here, please. Number one, where is Malcolm? Where has Malcolm gone? Number two, where is Macduff? And number 3, what is Macduff planning to do? Okay, if you could write down the answers in full sentences and send me your answers either by email or on a photo. That's it for this week's. There should be spellings and quotes as well to send. Otherwise, have a great week.